Alright, this looks moderately familiar. It is... Well... Now hold on. Alright, I'm willing to keep and see where this goes. This is a very bad keep, but it might be an entertaining keep. Yeah, I think there is a possibility that I just sequenced the plays last game pretty badly, and that playing the Celestus into the Trap Breaker, I think is what I did. That was just a pretty significant mistake. Also, didn't have it at any point. Opponent's playing Esper. Love to see it. You want to just tap out, opponent? No? Okay. That's a concern. Alright, well, I gotta jam Celestus here, because I can't really... Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. I like a lot about the design of Divide by Zero, but I also really don't like how it is a card that punishes your opponent for missing land drops. That doesn't feel great. Okay, Teferi, sure. I would like to draw lands now. Okay, well, we will play Celestus then. And hope the opponent doesn't have a key, because that would be pretty bad. This is a matchup that's advantaged for us, but... Opponent successfully did not do anything on the right turn. Okay, Discover the Formula is concerning. And we didn't hit a land drop, and that's bad. Alright, so let's get a Fading Hope out, draw some lands. Yes, successful. Okay, there is a chance. Opponent considers, sure. This looks like relatively stock Esper then, which probably means it's only running the 1 Teferi, which means I should actually be ahead here, despite the fact that my opponent resolved to discover the formula, because we have Unexpected Windfall and they don't. Key is the thing that may make that tricky, if they play that here. No, they don't have key. Okay, that makes us happy. So now we're sort of just ahead on mana temporarily. We get to loot. That's actually super stellar. We get to get rid of Fading Hope. Okay. I feel like I am probably just ahead now. How likely is it that I think my opponent has just hard counter magic? I might be able to get away with playing Discover the Formula here. A little bit of a risk that they play their own Discover the Formula if I do that, though, so maybe I'm supposed to play Unexpected Windfall? That's kind of bad if they Divide by Zero Windfall, and I don't actually have any bad cards to discard right now. So I guess I'm just going to say pass and go. We still make our land drop, and we draw a bad card to discard to Windfall. Everybody wins. Opponent's got a Memory Deluge. Is that fine by me? Yeah, it's fine by me. The land drop wars continue. Okay, we threw out an Unexpected Windfall, discarding a Fading Hope, see what the opponent has to say about that. They say Divide by Zero. Do I say sure? Or do I demand more mana be paid by the opponent? I can Divide by Zero, they're Divide by Zero. Yeah. So what opening do I create if I do that? I do need to try to draw lands. And I guess this gets me Teachings of the Archaics. That helps hit land drops. Oh, cool. If opponent wants me to have more mana, I will happily have more mana. That is fine by me. And they discard hand size too. Alright, I love it. Seems great. The ahead get more ahead. It feels really good to be on the Unexpected Windfall side of this control mirror. Having to be on the other side of this table is definitely the reason I did not particularly enjoy playing Esper. You have Tested Talents main deck opponent? No? Okay. Do we have answers to 2 Discover the Formulas? I admit, I actually cast that Galvanic Iteration thinking that I had Unexpected Windfall in hand. And I don't, which meant I should have saved it for A-Alrund's Epiphany. So this is kind of awkward. I don't actually want to cast anything here, and I wish I could just undo that Galvanic Iteration. But having already used it, I guess I'm supposed to discover the formula here. So they divide by 0 one of these, and then they probably divide by 0 the other one. Yeah, one discover gets divided. Opponent puts cards in hand. No, they actually loot away a dead card. Okay, that works. What else do we do here, opponent? We also divide by 0 the other one. Sure. I don't really want to use treasures here. One gets teachings. Sure. Wait, didn't they already? Wait, did they not get teachings earlier in the game when I was missing land drops? What did they do? They looted? They must have looted away a Fading Hope. Huh. I don't know about that one, but okay. Yeah, I'm willing to get rid of Teachings of the Archaic here. Ooh, alright. Unexpected Windfall. Only good cards in this hand, so it would seem. So if I Galvanic Iteration into Epiphany, I can play around Jwari Disruption. Do I think that's good? I do think that's probably good. They can only really counter one of these. Very Ultimate Scary. Yeah, I guess. Sort of. Not very scary, though. Alright, they let both of our extra turns resolve, so we're just going to play a Lier. And I guess we divide by 0 the Teferi. Hi, Socks. And then the opponent is free to try to do something. They Fading Hope our Lier. I have the option to try to Fading Hope the Lier in response. I do not think I will do that. Opponent has nothing for me to blow up with Abrade. Okay. Fairy back in hand. I'll take an Environmental Sciences, why not? We'll resolve that now. I think we discover the formula while the opponent is mostly out of counter magic. That seems good. That seems good. And then We're going to resolve an Unexpected Windfall while our opponent is mostly tapped out, discarding Meathook Massacre. Draw some lands. Cool. Oh, bye, Socks. You were ready to go quick. Was I not paying enough attention? You know that's your reflection, right? No, wait, it's not. Oh, is it just the one? Okay. Just the one little bug. Not a concern. I don't want to discard cards to hand size, so I'm just going to foretell this Behold the Multiverse. I don't really believe my opponent can play anything scary next turn, since they're not playing Galvanic Iteration. He's the kitty. That is Socks, short for Socrates. Alright, yes. Opponent has a Teferi. All well and good. Opponent has a Teachings of the Archaic. They get to draw some cards, sure. Opponent desperately digs for ways to not keep falling behind. Thought his name was Socks for the socks you put on your feet. Well, see, it's cute because you can do both, right? And, yeah, the divide by 0 goes away. What a shame. I could cast Behold the Multiverse here, but I don't actually want to pay treasures for that. Ooh, okay. Sorin is cool. So we get to play a Sorin. And we get to downtick a Sorin and make a threat. And that's pretty cool. And then we will, I guess, foretell this Behold the Multiverse, just on the off chance that I want more cheap card draw spells on some future turn. Oh no, Vanishing Verse has answered my Planeswalker! They will also need to answer my 2/3, or it gets to keep poking Teferi. Discover the formula, says the opponent. Alright, I'd like to see if I can find ways to inconvenience that. Divide by 0 sounds like an excellent way to inconvenience that. Alright, I would like to inconvenience you, opponent. What do you have to say about that? Absolutely nothing. Cool. Key to the archive. How many Abrades have I used? 1. I see. And after that resolves, I presume we are going to uptick Teferi on it? Is that the plan, opponent? I guess I should have beholded before it resolved on the off chance I hit another divide by 0. But I don't actually know if I can. I guess I can. I have one more divide by 0. I was mostly thinking about a Abrade, but divide by 0 is also an answer. Oh, hey, Hullbreaker Horror sounds like fun. Alright, well, opponent's got 4 mana. Is that enough to do anything meaningful at all? Go to our turn. Ooh, Galvanic Iteration seems fun. I bet we can do cool things with that. So we'll go to combat. We'll swing it to Teferi. I've got so many options here. I'm not convinced that abrading the Key to the Archives is the best option. But it is a cool option, so it's the one we're going to go with. So what'd you get with the Key to the Archives, opponent? You don't know? Okay. Alright, I think we just pass from here. Infernal Grasp on Lier. That would be inconvenient, though. So I guess I'm probably just going to Fading Hope the Lier. I mean, I guess the Discover the Formula would be kind of a problem here, huh? I could Hullbreaker Horror on their turn, I suppose. I mean, I could also just Galvanic, Discover the Formula now, and then see what happens. I guess I'm... Oh, wait, no. So Fading Hope, then Galvanic Discover the Formula? Yeah, that's probably the right move. I'm going to discard a lot of things to hand size right about now. But it should be fine. Alright, so there's a cheap A-Alrund's Epiphany. Rightio, let's discard some cards. I don't really want Meathook Massacre. Don't really need Jwari Disruption. I guess I can keep it for the time being. Don't super need Infernal Grasp. Don't super need Abrade. Guess I don't super need Behold the Multiverse. I don't know, I don't super need the Jwari Disruption. Why no key in this deck? Well, too many 4-drops already, and I'm not convinced that key actually is super good. Okay, opponent resolves Discover the Formula. If my hand didn't already cost no mana, I would be concerned by that. Key to the Archives is a fine card, but it's not good in the same matchups as Sorin, which is to say that I want Sorin to stabilize my matchups against aggro decks in a way that Key doesn't. And it's definitely not Unexpected Windfall. So my opponent's got access to 5 mana. Oh, okay. Time Warp's a card. There you go. That's the one thing Key to the Archive does well. If you have Time Warp... Like, Time Warp is the good card of Key to the Archive. No doubt about it. It's part of why I'm not really sure that I like the design of Key. It's much too RNG-based, in my opinion. A Key to the Archive that hits Time Warp is, like, 5 times better than one that doesn't. So now my opponent duresses my hand a bunch of times, but because their duress isn't... I don't know, like, they need to have approach here, right? I don't know what else could do it. Okay, they have approach. Yeah, alright, they might win here. Their keys hit the 2 things that they needed to hit. How many keys did they resolve? Just 2? So they hit the 2 hits? Brutal. Alright, alright. What are the odds that this match gets decided by the clock? Pretty low. These matchups don't tend to take a huge amount of time. Mid-range matchups usually take longer. But yeah, I think Sorin or Teferi Downticking just finds the approach here, right? Yeah, alright. Well, the odds aren't quite 1 out of 15 squared. But what are they, like? It's close to 3 out of 15 squared. But yes, that is why you run Key. It does occasionally high roll very, very hard and win you unwinnable games. Let's see. We want Disdainful Strokes and Hermits and Horror and Go Blanks and possibly Infernal Grasp and definitely Sorin. Maybe Sorin. Not guaranteed. We don't want Fading Hopes. We don't want Meathook Massacres. I still don't actually know about Abrade. We need 5 cuts. That's pretty tough. Alright, so definitely not Sorin. Instant speed as much as possible, yes. Abrade, probably. The tough thing is if we keep in enough answers for Horror or not. Celestus is fine. I could just get away with not playing Sorin, honestly. That's probably partially correct. Alright, no Sorins. Spikefield seems bad. Well, it's not a good spell, but it is a land, and I don't want to cut lands. New to Alchemy, what deck do you suggest to play tomorrow? What deck would I suggest? The answer to that question isn't just what deck is the best. It's what deck is easiest to play with one day of practice. I think the answer to that would probably be like green-red aggro. Alright, we will take a hand that just gets to do Behold the Multiverse stuff for the first couple of turns. I don't think that there is a good way to like try to hypergeometric calculator out the odds on the key hits, because it's of 15, pick 3. You need, and then what is the chance that the second hit hits the other one? But so there's 2 hits on the first one and 1 hit on the second one. There might be a way to do that, but I don't think it's necessarily like straightforward in any way. Opponent and Celestus. Okay. I think I just want to resolve Behold the Multiverse here then. I do want lands, but I also need interaction in case my opponent tries to jam a key next turn. Those cards were terrible, so that's a problem. And unfortunately, Celestus means this Jwari Disruption isn't going to counter a 4-drop. So the fact that I... Okay. Well, no, they're on the draw, so this can still untap. No, they choose to scry. Okay, lucky me. So we find ourselves in an awkward spot. I'm doing a lot of deciding on what to do for looting. I imagine we play the Spikefield Hazard here because I do need more red sources. Although I could Behold the Multiverse into a Divide by Zero, which potentially rewards me for playing an untapped land. And Riverglide Pathway is the second red source already. Interesting. I think we just play the Riverglide Pathway and not the Spikefield Hazard here, because I also have to consider what happens if my opponent plays like a Memory Deluge at the end of turn, and I think I have to Jwari Disruption that. And then just represent having counter magic, since I don't actually have counter magic. Hermit. Okay, that's fine, because I have the Spikefield Hazard. So we make them sack the Hermit, and then we try to resolve Behold the Multiverse. Hermit and Windfall both seem pretty good. Leaves us kind of light on lands. But that's what 2 more draw steps are for. Divide by Zero is not a land, but it is good. Vanishing Verse. So I could use this as an opportunity to resolve Windfall. I don't think I want to. I think I'd rather just put the Hermit in the graveyard. Because I don't have any good cards to discard right now, necessarily. I wonder if Vanishing Verse is a reason to not play Hermit? And play Test of Talents instead? I don't know. Hermit still counters 4-drops, which is a somewhat big deal. And getting rid of Vanishing Verse does still make room for Horror later on as well. Okay, opponent resolves Benevolent Geist. I think I just divide by 0 Celestus here because I need to try to help hit the next land drop. Setting them back on mana isn't bad either. If the opponent tries to do something here to tap out, then I can resolve Discover the Formula. It seems pretty good. Alright. Environmental Sciences, hope we don't draw a basic. We successfully don't draw the basic. Do I hold up Unexpected Windfall or jam the Hermit? I believe I probably just jam the Hermit. Alright, both players dealing with lots of spells that can't be countered, but can still be defeated by 0s. They're free to use a removal spell on my Geist. That would not particularly horrify me. They play Celestus, sure. Do we want to trade our Geist for theirs? No. I don't think I do want that at all. Alrighty, opponent. What do we have going on now? If I wanted to cast Windfall, what would I discard to it? Something off of Behold the Multiverse, probably? And is that better to try to play both of those cards than to play Discover the Formula? Probably, because it also helps hit a land drop, which I think is important. Disdainful Stroke, not so good right now. Shipwreck Marsh, pretty good. Alright, and we also get to Windfall, discarding one of these lands, and I'd rather discard the Shipwreck Marsh than the red source. Abrade to answer Benevolent Geist seems cool. Alright, I feel relatively totally stabilized at this point, but I did eat my words in the last game. I suspect that I probably had a way to play around that. I just did not play last game particularly well in the sense of playing correctly instead of playing cool. Alright, let's no, hold on. I don't really want to kill the Celestus as much as I want to kill the Benevolent Geist, I don't think. Alright, and we still have a Spikefield Hazard. The opponent could answer the Hullbreaker Horror here. That is totally possible. But yeah, Discover the Formula is not a way to do that. That should mean we probably win. Oh, I would have thought they should have Infernal Grasp before trying to play the Discover the Formula there. Huh, okay. Well, Galvanic Iteration's real interesting. So how do we play this? I could Galvanic Iteration A-Alrund's Epiphany, and then Galvanic Iteration Discover the Formula. That's probably good enough to win. I should probably just do that. It seems like a lot of cards in a very, very good way. Oh, cool. Go blank. Go blank seems solid here. Need to discard down to hand size. Might as well cast the go blank to get rid of my opponent's entire everything before that point. Alright, success. Any desire to change anything? Still don't know whether my opponent has horror. If my opponent doesn't have horror, I would definitely rather be playing the second Abrade than Infernal Grasp, but given that I can't be sure of that, Hermit does also make it scary to run 3 Disdainful Strokes, but I still probably should. Yeah, Abrade not hitting Lier is a good point too. So I think we leave it as it is. Alright, well, this hand gets to play Malevolent Hermit on 2. Which seems good against most of my opponent's possible 4-drops. Oh no, Malevolent Hermit! How will I ever find the ability to counter my opponent's turn 4 play now? Opponent wants to trade Malevolent Hermit for Malevolent Hermit? Unacceptable. Oh no. More Malevolent Hermit. This could be a problem. How do we handle this? Opponent's got the start on the clock. Oh, but they also miss a land drop, so I should probably relatively aggressively trade off here. I think that answers my own question, because there's no way they can play a 4-drop. Go blank. Wow, that's actually really well timed, isn't it? That's an annoying problem. Ah, very well. A-Alrund's Epiphany and Abrade gone. I'm slightly behind now. Not incredibly behind, but this is annoying because I don't have a second red source either. Yeah. I hate dividing by 0 Benevolent Geist. I don't really have a choice though. But this sucks. Alright, there we go. Found the red source. Mission accomplished. You just jam a 4-drop. No, they jammed Benevolent Geist. That's actually kind of surprising. Huh. Alright, what are we discarding? Probably Disdainful Stroke, huh? Because I believe I want mana right now. Spikefield Hazard. Alright, that's an answer to Benevolent Geist with a Lier in play. Answering Benevolent Geist is a lot less important if there's a Lier in play, but, you know. Options and all that. Kind of hope my opponent just plays the Malevolent Hermit here. And I get to just abuse that with Spikefield Hazard. Okay, opponent doesn't want to do anything. That's cool. I'm fine with it. I'm just leveraging the giant mana advantage that I've got. Opponent doesn't want to cast anything. Oh, wow. Opponent plays Malevolent Hermit. I could Unexpected Windfall here. I don't like that their mana is currently capable of vanishing versing twice. But maybe I've just got to live with that. So we play Horror. They try to remove our Horror when it's in play, presumably? I guess they could divide by 0 it. No. They let it resolve. They try to remove it. We Spikefield Hazard the Hermit. Bounce the removal spell, force them to cast the removal spell again, which exiles the Hermit. Oh, I guess I could also bounce my Horror. That makes it so that the Hermit goes to the graveyard, but that doesn't matter very much because they've already got a Geist in play anyway. Huh. Would I rather tap them out? I'd probably rather bounce Horror, I guess. Hopefully, best case scenario, they have another removal spell here. Oh, yes. I get 2 removal spells out of their hand, and the Hermit dies. That's pretty good. Okay. And now no removal spells for this Lier. You gotta love when a Kraken does its job by dying. What's the best thing I can do with this Lier? Is it Teachings? Or is it Hold Up, Divide by 0? It's probably Teachings. Key to the Archive, sure. Uncounterable. Opponent does a draft. We hope we untap with this Lier, and we probably win if we do. So ideally, the opponent does not find a removal spell. They discard a key. They do not immediately remove Lier. That's a good sign. We untap with a Lier. That's an extremely good sign. Alright, let's resolve Discover the Formula. We have successfully resolved Discover the Formula. Let's pass the turn. This feels pretty good. I have 2 copies of Divide by 0 up. I have lots of copies of A-Alrund's Epiphany available next turn. Teferi. Well, that'd be kind of annoying, so I think we're supposed to Divide by 0 that. I think he has actual Doomblade, if I recall correctly. Opponent puts Divide by 0 back in my hand. That's fine. I get to cast it again. Still don't want Teferi resolving, so that's going to go away. And I guess we get Mascot Exhibition. Don't know if it matters. Play a land. A-Alrund's Epiphany. How much mana do we have left over? 4. So I believe I can take 3 turns here. Well, 3 extra turns here, rather. Boop, boop, boop. Zoop. Boop. 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 And then we Galvanic Iteration. And then we Galvanic Iteration. And then we cast a Discover the Formula with 2 extra turns, and that sounds pretty good. And hopefully I don't deck myself, and hopefully the client survives. Client seems to have survived temporarily. We will have to decide to discard some stuff, which is going to be Celestus, Behold the Multiverse, Unexpected Windfall, and Unexpected Windfall, I guess. And then we will make the opponent discard their hand and their graveyard, and then we're going to do that again. Alright. Fun times! I like being on the Galvanic Iteration side of this matchup quite a bit. It's much more entertaining.